So new polls show that the majority of Americans want legalized herb, but there's a prohibitionist group which is skewing the numbers and trying to suggest otherwise. Meanwhile, President Trump posted a video outlining the medical benefits of the good herb, which has caused a stir. And Michigan, one of the strongest markets in the entire country, is raising taxes by imposing a 24% tax on the good herb. And finally, the first drive-thru opens in Ohio. So we're going to discuss all of that today, show you what both sides are saying, and of course, give you the bottom line.
For the first time, the majority of Americans say the U.S. should live and let smoke pot. According to a new Pew poll, nearly 54% of Americans now support legalizing marijuana, up 11 points since 2010, while 45% think it should stay illegal. The study of 1,501 adults showed that nearly 50% of baby boomers support legalizing, up from 24% in 1994. Attitudes from millennials, born after 1980, also changed dramatically in recent years, from 36% approving legalization in 2008 to 65% today.
So as more and more time passed, Americans have become more open to the thought of legalization. And that clip which I just showed you guys was from 12 years ago. So things have changed dramatically since then. In fact, the numbers are even more overwhelming. Now here's a look at the key polling data from a number of reputable polling sources. A July 2025 Pew Research Center survey found that nearly 9 in 10 adults believe that the good herb should be legalized. In a separate poll from Gallup, another reputable pollster also revealed that 70% of US adults supported making the good herb legal. That's the highest level ever recorded in their polling history. And for all you guys that say, oh, Republicans and conservatives are against weed, well, this is actually a bipartisan issue. Support is not limited to only one political party. In 2023, the Gallup poll found that 87% of Democrats, 70% of independents, and 55% of Republicans all supported legalization. That's a majority no matter which party you're affiliated with. So it seems to me that the numbers keep growing. They're getting bigger and bigger, and it's overwhelming the number of Americans that are in support of legalization. But let's break those numbers down even further.
And look, one big part of this is generational effects.
Yeah.
So when you look at folks who are over 65, they're the least likely to say that it should be legal, but everybody from 65 on down, and especially younger people, are all saying that it should be in larger and larger numbers. And that's what's leading the charge here towards favoring legalization. And also, if you look at it too, even among baby boomers, so I shouldn't just put all the focus on the youngest people, even among baby boomers who maybe grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and we know may have tried it back then, maybe that's all part of it as well.
Right.
Last wrinkle here too is that there's an attitude that pot is not as dangerous as, say, alcohol or than other drugs. And that's what people tell us in the poll. So that may also have something to do with the feeling that it could be legalized if people don't think that it's as dangerous of a drug.
Right.
Now that's something a lot of people mention consistently on the channel. Alcohol is way worse, way more destructive, and a lot more dangerous. So ban that, regulate that, put a 0.3% limit on that. Because if we were to look at the facts and really break things down, things like CBD and even the good herb actually help people to achieve dramatic reductions in things like anxiety, PTSD, and lots of other medical issues. And that's why so many folks use these good plants for medical relief. Now that being said, a lot of these polls are overwhelming. You guys can see clearly, and what we're seeing is a shift where younger generations are more open and even older generations are moving out of the reefer madness phase and into the acceptance phase. And as you guys can see, the number of Americans that support legalization is growing every single year. Now despite the polls being abundantly clear and everyone can see the facts, America wants legalized herb. There are prohibitionist groups such as SAM, which is actually pushing an agenda suggesting that no, Americans do not want legalized herb. Check it out.
We should not be creating a new tobacco-like industry, which is exactly what it is, because we already know Philip Morris Altria is $3 billion in Canada. We know that the Beverage Association, Constellation Brands, $2 billion. So I don't think that's a good idea either. We're rushing way too fast on so many things we don't know about. We don't have an impairment for driving. We don't know about the workplace issue. It's been a huge issue with workplace testing and workplace accidents. This is really bad for the developing brain. Your brain is developing up until about age 30. Now we know that. We had Alex Berenson, I think you had him on recently, wrote a great book called Tell Your Children, talking about the mental illness, specifically psychosis and schizophrenia. Even since that book, Tell Your Children, was actually published, we now have new research out of Britain saying that today's marijuana, the high potency marijuana, if you use it every day, you have quintupled, 5 times more likely for psychosis. And they even said that 1 out of every 2, which is an incredible number, of new psychosis incidents in Amsterdam are because of high potent marijuana. So this isn't kid stuff anymore. It's not the old Woodstock, and really it's about Wall Street. It's these investors who are in it to make money, and I think that's just a big mistake.
We just had a CEO from one of the marijuana companies earlier this week, and he basically came on and said, hey, it's safe. There's nobody arguing that anymore. Nobody's ever died. That's what he said specifically.
Philip Morris said that in 1965. They said it again in 1985. The heads of the tobacco industries in 1994 said this isn't addictive. I mean, 1994, we knew tobacco was addictive in the 1920s. 70 years later, they're telling Congress under oath it's not. This is big tobacco all over again. The former head of Purdue Pharma, which, the Sackler family is getting a lot of heat because of OxyContin, rightfully so. The former head of of Purdue Pharma, named John Stewart, is now the head of a pot company. So, I mean, this isn't like Jerry Garcia and Cheech and Chong. And that worries me. And of course, these business people are saying that. Although, look at that Tilray stock over the last year. I mean, talk about a nosedive.
Now you guys can see how they can skew the numbers, fairmonger, and also just pull straight out of the Reefer Madness playbook from years back. Now in my research, the good herb does not cause schizophrenia or psychosis, but rather if you're genetically predisposed, it may trigger those conditions, which is a completely different thing. So to say that you take a few puffs and you become a schizo, that's completely inaccurate. And also, if the human brain is developing up until 30, then why are people drinking? Alcohol definitely causes mental issues. Why are we doing this then? Alcohol should be banned. Now you guys heard a little bit of what he said there, but I want to show you guys the misleading poll, which is actually skewing the numbers, so let's dig into it. Now here you guys can see the prohibitionist group SAM, or Smart Approaches to Marijuana, literally published a misleading poll. And what this poll is suggesting is that majority of Americans oppose rescheduling the good herb. Now here you guys can see the poll and the accompanying post. Breaking, new poll shows that most Americans oppose rescheduling the good herb. Overall, 63% of respondents said they'll be less likely to support rescheduling if it gave companies a greater financial incentive to advertise to kids. So you guys can see already how they're skewing this poll just by asking the question in the way that they have. And I quote, if you knew that the following were true about rescheduling from Schedule 1 to 3, would you reduce some federal restrictions on marijuana, or would you be less likely to support rescheduling marijuana to a lower classification? And the statement says, rescheduling marijuana will give marijuana companies a financial incentive to advertise more to children. And obviously when you pose it like that, people are like, okay, we'll go with the less likely option, because we don't want anyone advertising to kids. Now this is how that's misleading, guys, and downright deceitful. What a Schedule 3 reclassification would do is allow businesses to take federal tax deductions that they've been barred from, while loosening certain research restrictions that apply to those Schedule 1 category drugs. Now, through this deceitful poll which they conducted, they zeroed in on the tax relief element from the reform and crafted 2 questions that posed hypotheticals about the impact of allowing the industry to take federal deductions. And that's what this raises right here. How does that create an incentive to unlawfully market to children? I don't know, but that's what Sam is trying to push and confuse people into thinking that it is bad for kids. With prohibitionist groups like Sam out there, you gotta be really careful, especially when it comes to some of these polls, and also the information that they're putting out there, because it's designed to be misleading, it's designed to be deceitful, and designed to cause trouble and fear-mongering in the public. But thankfully, not everyone is so goofy, and President Trump actually recently posted a video on the medical benefits of the good herb for seniors. Now, we're going to break that down in a bit, as well as what's happening over in Michigan, but just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club, or just buy us a cup of coffee. This video is brought to you by VivoSun, the brand trusted by home growers across the world. Whether you need tents, lights, carbon filters, or complete grow kits, VivoSun has you covered with gear that's reliable and affordable and built to help your plants thrive. I've been using their products myself, and they make it easy to grow smarter, not harder. So if you want to upgrade your grow setup, check out VivoSun. They are the home grower's choice for everything green. Use code ICANNTHC to get a discount on all VivoSun gear, including the new smart lights, grow camera, and the under canopy lights.
President Donald Trump says his administration is considering reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug. Pot is currently a Schedule I drug in the same category as heroin and ecstasy. It could drop to a Schedule III drug. Now, the DEA associates that level with a moderate to low potential for physical and psychological dependence. Trump told a reporter yesterday that officials will make a decision in the next few weeks. Marijuana use is still illegal at the federal level, but legal in many states, including New Jersey and Delaware.
So rescheduling has been in the news for quite some time now, and everyone's waiting to see what'll happen. And just yesterday, President Trump posted that video outlining the medical benefits when it comes to the good herb. So let's check it out.
You can revolutionize senior health care. We've all heard about the major systems in our bodies, like the digestive, respiratory, nervous, and cardiovascular systems. But there's one essential system discovered in the 90s that you probably never heard of. It makes all of the other systems work smoothly with each other. Like a conductor, ensuring the different sections of an orchestra all play a beautiful symphony together. This system is called the endocannabinoid system. It has been acknowledged and studied by scientists extensively with support from the National Institutes of Health. As we age, the system weakens. As a result, the different systems in our body stop working together smoothly. That's one of the reasons older adults struggle with pain, inflammation, cognitive decline, and other ailments of aging, for which doctors often prescribe dangerous and addictive pharmaceuticals. They also recommend lifestyle remedies, such as exercise, good diet, and stress management. And while all these improve the system, it is only fractionally and over a long time. But here's the game changer. The system can be restored faster using hemp-derived CBD. When the system is restored, pain subsides, sleep is improved, and stress is reduced. When the system is restored, disease progression can slow down, and years are added to your life, as well as years spent in good health. And 20% of seniors are already using CBD today for pain, arthritis, cancer symptoms, sleep disorders, Alzheimer's, and many other ailments of aging. But doctors are not equipped to provide guidance, and there are no FDA standards for what is already in the market today. Imagine if that were the case for other medications. Older adults are suffering needlessly. Hemp-derived CBD can help them feel better, live longer, and improve their quality of life significantly.
A PricewaterhouseCoopers report estimates annual cost savings for the U.S. nearly $64 billion a year if cannabis is fully integrated into the healthcare system.
The groundbreaking 2018 Farm Bill, championed by President Trump, was the first step. Now it's time to educate doctors on the endocannabinoid system, provide Medicare coverage for CBD, and give millions of seniors the support they deserve. You will deliver the most important senior health initiative of the century, cementing your legacy and transforming aging care. Millions everywhere will thank you.
Now that video is tremendous, guys, and you guys can see why. There are so many medical conditions that the good herb is used for, and the fact that they focused on the endocannabinoid system is fantastic. This is something that people in the community have been talking about for decades, and a lot of these things are common sense. The point that they make about the doctors being ill-equipped to provide or advise on some of these medications is a good point. Also, some of those doctors do not want some of these natural medications to be put out there because they'll make a lot more money from big pharma's opioids and opiates. Personally, I think that that video that President Trump has posted is a step in the right direction. Because even if we were to legalize medically at a federal level, I think that that's a good thing. Even though we probably need a little bit more. Now that being said, recently we discussed the top 5 herb-friendly states in America, but also the top 5 states when it comes to home-grow laws. And on both of those lists was Michigan. And unfortunately now Michigan seems to be raising taxes when it comes to the good herb, and those taxes will bring in about $420 million in revenue every year. And what they're touting those taxes to be used for is things like road repairs and fixing potholes. Now, according to this, the proposed Comprehensive Road Funding Tax Act would impose a 24% tax on the wholesale price of the good herb sold or transferred to a retail shop beginning in January. And obviously that's going to mean increased prices for the consumer at the till.
A state budget deal appears close, just in time to avoid a shutdown, but one new tax on the table isn't sitting well with a growing Michigan industry. We thank you so much for being with us here for the News at 6. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Ty Steele. Michigan needs a lot of money for our crumbling roads, as you know, and part of that new tentative budget deal involves taxing retail cannabis at 24%. Noelle Friel has been looking into this for us today. She joins us live with reaction across the whole spectrum here. Noelle, not surprisingly, that tax is already getting some pushback from the state's cannabis industry.
Yeah, that's right. State lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have agreed to a wholesale marijuana tax that will be used to fund roads. Now, local dispensaries are pushing back, arguing that tax will unfairly target the state's regulated cannabis businesses. As Michigan lawmakers work to narrowly avoid a government shutdown ahead of the next fiscal year, funding road construction has been a hot-button issue in the new state budget. The proposed budget will create a 24% wholesale marijuana tax, with that added revenue going towards roads. It's something lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say was a compromise.
We proposed a plan that would raise no taxes and would not require any new revenue. But again, this is where negotiations happen.
The industry can cry wolf as much as they want, but at the end of the day, this isn't a tax on working families. This is a tax on marijuana.
These are some of the products that have been extracted that we're waiting on testing on right
Gregory Andrick is a partner in a business that grows and sells marijuana in the Detroit area.
We grow it, we produce products, and then we go ahead and sell it.
With the oversaturation of Michigan's marijuana market and an oversupply of cannabis in the state, he says this new proposed tax would be a major hit.
It's going to put people out of business, going to cause layoffs. The margins have become so slim.
Now, this is a story which we've seen play out across multiple states. Oversaturation, overtaxation, these things actually cause the legal markets to crumble. I mean, just look at California, for example. Even look at Colorado. There's so many dispos, a lot of businesses are suffering, and the taxes are causing a lot of issues in the industry. Now, as always, I want to show you guys what both sides are saying and give you the bottom line. We all know Democrats love taxes. Over in California, they're constantly raising taxes. So much so that they raised the taxes to almost 25% and then put a pause on it and then pat themselves on the back to say, oh, good job, we didn't raise the taxes as high as we thought that we were going to raise them. And that's pretty much what we're seeing over in Michigan, as this Democrat lawmaker says, we're not attacking businesses, we're not attacking families, we're attacking weed.
The industry can cry wolf as much as they want, but at the end of the day, this isn't a tax on working families, this is a tax on marijuana, this is a tax on marijuana, this is a tax on marijuana.
And that's a completely different sentiment to which was shared by the Republican lawmaker in Michigan who said they want zero taxes.
We proposed a plan that would raise no taxes and would not require any new revenue. But again, this is where negotiations happen.
And that's often what we see. Increased taxes are often the result of negotiations between both parties. And where one party wants to jack taxes up to, let's say, 25-30%, the other party wants zero taxes. Usually they meet at a compromise around 20%. And that's pretty much what we're seeing right here in Michigan. Now again, I'm gonna let you guys make the decision for yourselves. Like I said, I'm gonna show you guys what both sides are saying so you guys can make an educated decision. Now, on a more positive note, the first dispensary drive-thru finally opened over in Cincinnati, so let's check that out.
Hello, welcome to the Garden Dispensary.
King City Gardens is paving the way as the first of its kind drive-thru dispensary in Cincinnati.
So someone can walk in and be able to put their order in right online.
They'll see a wide variety of products that include flour, pre-rolls, edibles, vapes, tinctures, patches, and more.
It is extremely unique, to say the least.
Weeks says he's seen the benefits of medical marijuana in his family. It's helped his mother and sister, who are both cancer survivors.
Some anti-inflammatory issues as well. So her doctor recommended some gummies that had CBG and CBN, and she was actually able to find relief from her pain and actually get some sleep.
Weeks says it's been a long time coming, now being able to sell cannabis directly to consumers. Doors will open at its dispensary store to the public soon. In Cincinnati, Taylor Woods, WCPO 9 News.
So that's pretty cool, and seeing the growing acceptance of the good herb across multiple states and things like drive-thru dispos, that's fantastic. Now, all that said, what do you guys think about everything that we discussed in today's video? From the overwhelming support for legalization across America, but also that video which President Trump dropped outlining the medical benefits when it comes to the good herb. And that Prohibitionist group, Sam, what do you think about those guys? Drop all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, in our next video, we've seen instances where cannabis seems to be blacklisted, and government is actually forcing big tech to censor a lot of creators on their platforms. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's coming up right now.